in the East Ukrainian city of Sumy has allowed thousands to escape the war. The UK has introduced tougher measures to ban Russian planes in its airspace. The British government will also set out details for its proposed ban on Russian oil imports later, and UN Human Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet will visit Xinjiang in May over the treatment of ethnic minorities there. That is the latest feature story news. Chris Jones reporting.
This portion of programming brought to you by New Health.
New Year's resolution or not, at New Health.
Not sure why that wanted to play twice, but we got it.
I'm sitting there adjusting my screen, so if I lose you,
Oh, you're beautiful, man. You're beautiful.
I got the sun coming up, and at some point, it's going to hit the top of my head, so I'll get my halo back.
I brought my sunglasses. Good morning. Everything wants to keep playing today. I'm sorry. All right, hold on. Putting on the brakes. Let's try that again. Good morning. It's KCHW 102.7. Looking at 7:30, and you got Scott and Mike on a Wednesday. Mr. Mike Bentz, welcome back, Mike.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
All right.
I'd say I missed you, but it was nice to sleep in.
Oh. Well, you were on a little trip, and Mr. Brandon Hansen, we'll give Brandon a little applause for filling in for you.
Yep.
It's kind of different, though, with Brandon filling in for you.
There seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Brandon sent me a instant message and said that the two of us need to come on the radio show and do a satire of financial markets.
Ooh. I kind of want to talk to you about that this morning too. So we'll get to that. A satire of financial markets. That'd be kind of cute.
Yeah, it would be kind of cute.
Although things like that are really scary right now, so I don't know if it's a good idea.
It's only scary to the uninformed.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's start off with a little weather out there. As you said before we went live, it's kind of pretty, although downtown it doesn't look like it stuck too much on the roads, just enough to make them slippery this morning.
Right.
But we did get a skiff of snow that froze real hard overnight.
Yeah, well, we probably got an inch, maybe an inch and a half.
All right.
Which will, as soon as the sun's coming up, so it's already melting, so it'll turn back to that dirty brown color we all love.
Yay. It is dirty looking, isn't it?
That's right.
All right, so we're hoping for a little bit better weather-wise today. 35, mix of clouds and sunshine. Overnight low back down to 16 tonight. One more chilly night than after this. Let's see, for your Thursday, partly cloudy, 41 and 24. And then we kind of return to where we were Friday, 42 and 33, mostly cloudy. Saturday, 44 and 36 with afternoon showers at 50%. Sunday, right now, cloudy, 48 and 38 with a 25% chance of rain on Sunday. Looking ahead to next week, I see some rain for Monday and Tuesday and temperatures in the mid-40s. But by the end of the week, we'll be tipping 50.
All right. Ooh, good.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking for it. We got a golf course to open up, and it's awful hard to golf when you got 8 inches of snow on the ground.
Yeah, yes, definitely. I was thinking about that too. It's probably looking good for you guys, right?
Yep, exactly.
All right, couple news headlines today, and you might have caught it on the newscast. Polish government stunned Washington yesterday by announcing it wanted to transfer its 28 MiG-29 fighter planes to the U.S. with the understanding they'll be handed over to Ukraine, and then Ukraine wants new planes. Not Ukraine. Poland wants new fighter jets to replace the ones they're going to give to Ukraine. Of course, that scares everybody, thinking that that'll enrage Putin.
Right. And it probably will.
Oh, I'm sure.
But didn't I read where the Pentagon kind of said, no, we're not going to do this?
They don't want to, but it has not been officially decided yet. Poland might just hand them over anyways, straight to Ukraine if we don't. I guess they need to be changed So
Right.
that there must be some kind of programming, or they've chipped all the pilots so that they won't start unless the right pilot's in the plane. There was something, but they said they need to change them from NATO pilots to regular, to a plane anybody can
okay.
fly. So there must be some kind of system in them that keeps them locked out or something, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I would bet there is. So, Scott can't show up and just hop in the jet and take off.
Poland also called on other NATO allies that operate MiG-29 jets to act in the same vein. And I guess I kind of get that in a way because, if Russia succeeds and takes over Ukraine, well, now they're next door to Poland. And,
Yep.
The excuse of, Putin doesn't want, a NATO country next to him. Well, it doesn't matter because once he takes Ukraine, he's still got a NATO country next to him. And what about Turkey?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's got actually 3 or 4 NATOs.
Yes, he does. So it's kind of a moot point, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all scary.
Yeah. Well, it gets back to, one of my sayings is you can't rationalize with irrational people.
Yeah.
So, you just got to figure out how to get it done.
Yeah.
So
it's like trying to make sense of what a politician is saying.
yeah, exactly. You ever notice how a politician has a different take on things depending on the audience?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I've been.
Talk about changing your direction based on which way the wind blows.
Exactly. Good. I'm in Eastern Washington, so I'm going to talk more conservative. I'm in Western Washington, so I'm going to talk about the same thing, but a little bit more liberal.
And then on a sadder note, in fact, I'm going to drag, for people that are watching online, I'm going to drag the window away from you for a minute just to show him. Phil Collins, Genesis on tour, and people were surprised to see Phil Collins just sitting in a chair and not drumming. But you can see him here in the photo. His health is failing. And
Right.
he can't play the drums anymore, but he can still sing. But people were surprised to see him on tour and not see Phil playing the drums. And I was
Right.
I was thinking about that a few weeks back. I was like, what ever became of Phil Collins? We haven't heard from him since The Lion King. It's been quite a while. And but they are on, I guess, a kind of a final tour, probably for him, since his health is really failing.
Right. Yeah. Well, do you notice there's a lot of these older artists that are on final tours?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I'm starting mine in about 30 days. My final tour.
so that's what you need to put on the Zombie Mobile. Scott's final
tour. That sounds kind of ominous, though.
That's true.
All right, we got a guest joining us today. Let's throw that out. Shelly Stevens from the Tri-County Economic Development District. They've got a new tourism program going on. I've been getting emails on it, and she is going to join us later. Now, do you have a guest set up for next Wednesday, too, that we could tease? I thought you had...
Yeah, we do. We have Barney Brockwell.
I thought so. All right.
Yeah, he's going to be on. He's with Rural Resources. He is a manager of some program up there. He keeps getting all these
new titles,
changes, new titles. So I don't know what to call him, at this point. But he, we've had him on several times actually.
Yes,
and he's always entertaining and really passionate about vets and employment and things like that. So,
all right.
I was glad when I emailed him that he doesn't respond well to his personal email.
So you got to email him at work.
Yeah, well, I couldn't remember his email at work. Finally, I'm thinking, well, I'm just going to call him, and then he says, "Hey, use this email." And then the following week, we got the mayor and the city administrator.
Wow, you got us all booked up.
Yep.
All right.
So,
and then we'll be on hiatus for a while as I travel to my new digs, which is going to take a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Let's get into that public service stuff and some of the groups that Mike's helps out real quick. I got this yesterday, and it is from the Chihuahua Center for the Arts, Stage Time Theater School, currently in rehearsal for Matilda Jr. That production will run April 1st through the 3rd. Park Avenue Players auditions for the Sweet Delilah Swim Club happened the past couple days, so they got that show coming up. Chihuahua Center for the Arts Omni Game Night, Friday, March 11th. If you're a gamer, that'd be kind of a fun night. Stage Time Theater Matilda Jr., as we said, the 1st to the 3rd, they got that on there again. And Thursday, April 14th at 7 p.m. is Authors Night. Let's see. Also, a couple notes on here. Most Nothing to Lose productions are entertainment for adults 21 and over. Those are like the singer series and comedy nights. Stage Time Theater School is for area preschool and school-age students. Occasionally includes adults in their productions. And Park Avenue Players, an all-volunteer theater ensemble, founded back in 1987. They've been doing plays in Chihuahua forever.
Really?
All right.
Boy, that's coming up on 40 years, right?
Wow.
35 years.
I wonder what they're going to do for a big 40th anniversary play. Wow.
Right.
Right.
Maybe it'll be some kind of epic Scott heading west.
East.
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 No, west.
Okay.
When they do it for their 40th, you're going to come back.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
All
right.
So west, kind of a westward ho type thing, you know.
And if you want to keep track of what's going on, you can follow the Chihuahua Center for the Arts on Facebook. There you go. They'd like that, too. Be a Facebook friend for them. And more information on the center, 509-936-9333. And on to Mr. Bentz. We kind of touched it briefly. Looking forward to our golf course opening back up, and a mild spring would help that, right?
Yep, we are. In fact, I'll start with that since you gave me a great lead in.
There you go. All right.
Okay. Let's start with the Rusty Putter. You know, we're still open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're in the process. I think next week we're starting our hiring process for going into the golf season. I believe the restaurant's scheduled to open 7 days a week. Well, they'll do it when the golf course opens, but we'll probably start a little bit earlier, around the 1st of April.
Okay.
If the golf course is not open by then. So I encourage people to either go to the Rusty Putter Facebook page, I'll get it out, Facebook page, or you can email rustyputter@chihuahuagolf.com. And if you've got an interest in a variety of different positions, line cook, wait staff, you know, those types of things. So we're in that process. So cross your fingers in today's world, you know, that hiring is a tough game for everybody as far as that goes. We're starting to schedule meetings in our renovated clubhouse. The new floors are in, it's painted, the new acoustic panels are up. And so it's about 90% complete. So if you've got a meeting as a individual, sort of like birthdays and things like that, or as a group, go ahead and give them a call and they'll figure out what we can do for you from that perspective.
All right. So is indoor dining then back open?
Indoor dining's back open,
okay.
Yeah.
So I showed up. I forgot that you guys were doing the project because you'd said before you left, and I think it was last weekend. Me and a friend went up there to eat, and then we realized we were doing takeout.
That's right. Yeah, that was quite the project. I mean, it
looked like it.
Yeah, I mean it was a big project, especially for us as far as that goes.
Well, and it looks like you put down a whole new subfloor too. Which,
yeah, we did. Yeah, we had
that's
to
a
clear down.
That's a huge space. That must have just killed you guys for the plywood. Wow.
Well, you know what I didn't realize is the first thing you worry about in today's world is supply chain problems.
Yes.
You know, and we didn't have any of those, and then they had to bring in the plywood, the subfloor, and the flooring in and bring it to room temperature. And they take us about 2 weeks to do that before they could lay it. And of course, you know, they had to rip out all the old stuff. But yeah, the flooring's all in. I mean, they've got some molding work to do, and that might even be done now because I was in there last Friday when they were finishing it up Friday and Saturday. So, but yeah, we've gotten a fair amount of interest from people that want to do various types of meetings. The downstairs is available, and so is the dining room, and they're really two different environments. You know, the downstairs is way more private, whereas up above, of course, unless it's a real big event, you know, you're open to that, to the bar side and the pro shop side and everything else. So, but give them a call if you're looking at doing something. The winter sports, we've closed that because they're starting to work on the course. Plus, it's like 8 inches of ice out there.
Not much fun to ski or sled on,
not
right?
much fun to ski on, but probably the more important thing is the ground crew will start coming back, I believe, next week around the 15th. And even though there's snow out there, there's still a fair amount of things we need to do to get the course prep. One of them will be is they take snow blowers and blow off the snow and the greens so they actually dry out a little bit faster. And that also helps get rid of some of the fungus, the mold and stuff that potentially could grow underneath that ice. Let's see. The new menu is probably going to be out about mid-April. We're completely revamping the menu as far as pricing and offerings, trying to tighten up a little bit so we can be a little bit more competitive going future as far as pricing goes. And that's a struggle for all restaurants right now. And as you can imagine, prices aren't going backwards. They're going forward. And then that does have supply chain problems.
I haven't noticed that.
And then I think that's about all I got up there. Just to remind everybody that we are starting to hire. So if you're looking for summer employment, we do, the restaurant's kind of tied to people 21 or older as far as waiting on people and taking orders and stuff. And that's really driven around because we offer alcohol. But we do have some other positions that are available now. The golf side is, I think Ron May every year tries to look for up to 4 high school students, basically. And, because of the machinery and stuff, there's some things they can and cannot do. But every year he tries to hire, I think, 2 to 4 high school students. So,
nice.
And that hiring will probably start mid-April to May, which works in perfectly for getting out of school by the time they get on board. And they have to go through a safety training class and, stuff like that.
Well,
so,
a good experience for them, right?
Really good experience. And of course, they'll get paid the minimum wage, which is just at $15 an hour right now.
Wow.
And so, think back when you worked in high school.
Let's see. My first job was at the IGA here in Chewelah, which
Right.
is now the gym. It was at the IGA, and it was for $3.35 an hour. And
okay.
My parents owned a motel here in town, and if I mowed lawn in the campground and that kind of stuff, and at the motel, I got $2.35 an hour. So I took the job at IGA for $3.35 an hour. Man, was my dad upset with me. He had to mow the lawn now.
So to tell you the difference, my first job.
Oh, what? 25 cents an hour? What was it?
No. Give me a break. Well, actually, my very first job was hoeing beets because, my family had irrigated land. They had dryland land. So hoeing beets for a penny a row.
Wow. So
and these rows were probably a quarter mile long.
Wow.
Then my first job that was non-family oriented was in a service station, and I got paid $1.25.
Nice.
But that's where I learned that they once I got familiar with it, I got paid $1.25 plus commission.
Oh. I see how you
that's
are.
So that helped out somewhat. But here you got a 15-year-old out there trying to sell things like windshield wipers and fan belts and
Funny.
stuff like that. But then I really thought I'd made it the big time when I worked. I went to work for Sears for the summer before I went to college, busting tires and eventually installing air conditioners on land tractors. And I went to $1.75 an hour and then $2.75 an hour.
Wow. Getting rich quick.
Getting rich quick. Yeah, exactly. But
a good job for a local high school student, right?
Yeah,
all right.
Exactly. It's a great job. I mean, it's outdoors. They do have to get out of bed because they start at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, but they're done by 2.
Nice.
So when I was in high school, that was a primo job because then you had all afternoon to go play, basically.
Yeah, you never wanted to work weekends. Ugh.
No. And I don't think the grounds crew, the main crew does work weekends because they rotate through because there's certain things that have to be done daily. But I don't think the high school kids work weekends. I think it's like a Monday through Friday type thing.
Good.
So,
good.
Okay, so that's over. So let's talk a little bit about the chamber. We've got the home show coming up on April 2nd. It's going to be at Guess Elementary. I believe there's only a couple of booths that are left. So if you are looking at being in the home show, get a hold of Sandy at 935-8595, and she can hook you up there. It's going to be from 10 to 3. I already know that their lines are serving burgers. There's 3 outdoor, vendors of displays. And then the inside will have the Creative District, the Arts Guild, the golf course, a variety of different builders, those types of things on the inside. And I tell people when they ask about it, it was one of the best places for Loretta and I to get introduced to the business community was that home show. It's worth your time to stop by and kind of get it. Especially if you're brand new, I would recommend it highly, because it really does give you a good flavor of what the community is and the people that are in it, the quality of individuals, that type of thing.
And for vendors, too, you said you got a couple spaces left. We've broadcast live from it several times in the past. And I've had a couple times where vendors have told me that they had enough solid leads from just attending that event to keep them busy all summer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if you're looking for work or looking to fill up your schedule, which I don't know, in the skilled trades now, they might not be having a problem. But a great place to go if you want to promote your business too. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that hasn't happened in a couple of years because of COVID.
All right. So about time it comes back.
It's coming back. Yeah, exactly.
All right. I just got one question. Has Hartil's signed up? Because they bring all their tractors and stuff.
I haven't seen the list, but I'm pretty sure they have, because we got to have big boy toys.
Oh, yeah. I love drooling over those. All right.
Well, yeah. I kind of hope he doesn't, because every time he's been there, I bought something.
Time to upgrade that lawnmower. It's been 2 years.
Yeah. And you want to talk about quality people. Paul and Carmen, they're just unreal.
They've been supporting public radio for years. Thank you, guys, if you got your radio on this morning. Applause for Hartil's. All right.
Then, of course, we have the chamber bucks available. They're great gift. Then the nice thing about chamber bucks is if they're, I hate to say they're like cash, but they're like cash. And I think there's 42 or 43 businesses that accept chamber bucks in the area. And 100% of that money goes obviously back into the community. It's not a fundraiser for the chamber. A lot of chambers will do that, then take maybe 10% off the top type thing as a revenue source. And this chamber doesn't. 100% of what comes in goes back out as far as that goes.
It's just a way to shop local and keep dollars in Chihuahua, right?
Keep the dollars, cooking in Chihuahua. And then citywide cleanup's coming up, and I'm going to throw this date out, but I'm not 100% sure. It's the end of April. How's that sound?
Okay.
I believe it's around the 23rd, but I haven't seen that date. I know they've been talking about it, but Sherry Lundstrom, who is the coordinator, that's been out of town for a couple of weeks. So next week I'll have a firm date on that, and they'll be looking for volunteers. It's a great day to get out, beautify the city, and get to meet people. Bring your own rake and broom, and they take care of everything else, type of thing.
Okay.
So, and then last but not least is the Creative District. I'm putting together an annual meeting, and as I'm putting it together, Scott, do you realize the Creative District is coming up on its 3rd anniversary?
Wow, because you guys started right before COVID.
Right, exactly. Yeah, June. We were designated by the state of Washington on June 29th of 2019. And a lot of things have gotten done since then. So you'll see some stuff coming out of the Creative District, kind of showcase what we've been done. We've got a newsletter that's going out now on a monthly basis, and you can get that newsletter by going in and joining. We have a basic membership that doesn't have a fee attached to it, which everybody should have. And then, of course, if you want to become a member, it's a great way to get engaged from that point and some other things that we're doing. Calendar of events. There's a lady that I don't believe you've met, Kim Thomas.
No.
This new to the area that has taken over the website and Facebook and Instagram, and she's actually just developing a blog that loves doing that, knows what she's doing, unlike me, for instance. So, the website itself now has a calendar of events. We're trying to aggressively build that out. And so you'll go in there and you'll see things like the PACA stuff, anything that's kind of arts related, entertainment related, culture related, or artist related can go into that calendar. So it's building out as a pretty robust calendar. And then if you follow Facebook, there's Kim's really doing a good job of things like, Brian over at the library is giving out seed packets and stuff. And that's showing up on our Facebook page, So it's really being designed as a community engagement tool, I think. So I would encourage you to at least follow the Facebook page and go to the website. We're also, we have the grant, I've been talking about that, the capital grant that's going to the grant committee at the state of Washington on the 25th of this month. So we'll know for sure what our amount is, although we got a pretty good idea around the 1st of April. And then at that point, we'll be a little bit more aggressive on fundraising as far as the match is concerned, because the grant does come with a 50% match. And I think we were talking about this last night in the Creative District board meeting. These grants are what we call reimbursable grants. And so it's not they write us a check. We have to write the check and then get reimbursed. So, that's why fundraising is so important. And then the nice thing about the state of Washington, because Chihuahua is, considered a economically challenged community, that they allow us to do that in stages instead of all at once. And so that's last year they allowed us to do us at 1/3, and a final 1/3. So that does is it gives you the cash flow to move ahead. And the nice thing about this time is we've got until June of 2023 to complete the projects. Whereas the last one, we came in really late, so we only had, I believe, 9 months total.
It was a big rush.
Really,
I remember that.
Yeah, big rush. And so right now we've got 3 murals identified that we want to do. We're going to upgrade the kiosk somewhat. There's going to be a local creative district map with bullet points over there under glass. We're going to put a bench in over there, and then we're doing additional signage out on Flower Trail Road down in this kind of what I call the central core of the city, and then basically cleanup. So the big project that we're going to start working on is restoration of the outside art in the community. We've got, and we have a mural tour. So if you want the actual mural tour, you can go on the website. You can print out the map so you can see the various murals around town. I think there's 12 of them on there.
Wow.
And those things that's exactly, some of those need to be cleaned and resealed and, stuff like that, because some of them have been there forever. And so we're building, we talked about last night, we're going to start building a project list to include those. And it came about because Kim Thomas actually wanted to know where that totem pole came from in the park by the kiosk. So we found out that was actually done as a Scoutorama in 2004, and it was carved by a guy named, I think, Steve Hobbs out of Northport as a show and tell project for the Boy Scouts at that point in time. So there actually is going to be a feature on him in our newsletter. He's still doing it, by the way.
Oh, cool. Because I got an email on it, too. Do you know where it came from?
Yeah. Well, I have to thank, somebody I've never met, Lillian Smith. You probably know who that is. But Dale Storer brought me a file folder on it with the original newspaper article, all the pictures, and stuff like that. So that's the type of thing we're going to do as a separate project. Once we get it put together and get some pricing put together, then we'll go after some restoration grants because there's a fair number of those out there.
Cool.
So
got to preserve it, right?
Yeah, and preserve it. And some of the murals and things like that. Because like the big mammoth mural on the CenturyTel building, that was put up in 1999.
Wow.
and it's held up relatively well, but nothing's been done to it since then. So you can imagine all the dirt and the grime and everything off of 395. And then Kevin Herta pointed out to me the other day, the lighting doesn't work anymore. I mean, stuff like that. But that all takes money. And a lot of that, we're trying to move away from a certain amount of volunteers. I mean, we're, especially skilled trade stuff, we're trying to put that money back into their pocket. Whereas the volunteers will be more of like me showing up and cleaning it, that type of thing. So anyway, so a lot going on there. And then I don't know if we'll do some kind of a celebration event on our anniversary or not, but that was discussed a little bit at the board meeting last night too. So anyway, that's what I've got for probably a longer roundup than you wanted.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I want to throw out a note too that one of our beloved Chewelah volunteers, Grumpy John Grumbach, of course, passed away a couple weeks ago, and his funeral is Friday, I believe 11 o'clock at the Catholic Church in Valley, and then at the American Legion at 1, a little party. Do you remember John?
Right, exactly.
All right, so.
And there's a fund out there if you want to basically donate to it. That is the party and all that, and funeral expenses are being offset. But there's also a scholarship being developed in his name.
Yes.
And
so what I read was they're looking for donations to that fund to help pay for the funeral costs, and anything left over will go into the scholarship, and people will be able to donate to that scholarship. And of course, John loved reading to the kids and did it for years at the school. He volunteered everywhere, from Kiwanis to the radio station to the chamber. He was just all about community, and we called him Grumpy, but I don't think I've seen him flustered a couple times, but I never seen him grumpy.
Well, and we were talking about it last night at the Creative District meeting, because he was one of the original collaborative volunteers to get it going.
Nice.
And I pointed out to some of the newer people, because they were never around him, that our mission statement, if you want to look at our mission statement, he actually pulled the group together and say, "Hey guys, this is what this thing ought to say."
All right.
So it all of a sudden, it's kind of like one of those light bulb moments came on.
Nice.
Right. And so and I pointed that out last night. And it's he was just a valuable person as far as input, historical knowledge. I mean, things like that. So take some time off work and pay your respects to Grumpy John. All right, exactly.
Friday. A couple other notes before we go to break and bring our guest in, Shelly Stevens from the Tri-County Economic Development District. I got a couple notes from Leslie. She says, First City Public Works Department's going to be flushing those water lines. That does not include the airport and golf course. I guess your guys' is too new. Doesn't need it. April 4th through, that'll be Monday, April 4th through Thursday, April 7th, beginning at 6:30 in the morning, continuing throughout each day. Flushing could affect water citywide. If you're going to be doing some laundry that week, maybe look out the window, see if they're in your area, and test it before you fill up that wash machine. Even you don't want that stuff in your hot water either, so run some cold before you run the hot. And if you see that brown, run it for a while till it runs clear. Rather than letting it get into your hot water tank or your clothes washer. Let's see. If you have low pressure, no water, please be patient. Flushing may take 15 minutes to a half hour in your area. If you encounter dirty water during this time, please avoid the use, as I said, ice makers, dishwashers, and wash machines. I missed the ice makers. Concerns, 935-8311 for the city. Also, another announcement. Leslie says she's all embarrassed because she put the month of March on the invoices this month on your statement, and saying that chipper days were coming up March 26th and 27th, but that is actually April 26th and 27th for chipper days. Give us some time to get the snow out of the yards, all right? And get them cleaned up.
Right, exactly.
Don't rush us, Leslie. Come on. All right, so April 26th and 27th, and those girls in the office over at City Hall do a great job, too, so applause for them. All right, I think that's all I had. I covered the Center for the Arts. I had those couple PSAs. Don't forget, if you have a public service announcement, Sandy has been working on like a community calendar through the chamber, right?
Right.
All right. So,
exactly.
So contact Sandy, and then she's sending it out to everybody else. So if you put your event or your public service announcement in with Sandy, the radio station's going to get it too. And I think we're kind of trying to go to a centralized source for that because we have so many groups that have different places, and it's a lot easier for us here at the radio station, being all volunteers too, if Sandy's collecting it all and then mailing it out to everybody, and then it gets on the radio too. So.
Yeah, that's actually part of the committee I'm on at the chamber, and what we're encouraging people to do is get it to Sandy by Wednesday so she can get it on the calendar.
Okay.
Prior to the event. And if it's something that's repetitive, that's done on a monthly basis at the same time, be sure to tell her that, because we're rebuilding that calendar software. So if we put in, Scott Allen does this at this particular date every month, then it'll populate for the entire year. So she doesn't have to put it in every year or every month.
All right.
So, but yeah, just email her at info@chewila.org and tell her what it is, and she'll get her done.
And she's in the office Tuesday through Friday from around 10 to 2, right?
Yeah, well, and on Tuesday through Thursday, she's there from 8:30 to 3, actually.
Okay.
And then Fridays, because of the chamber meeting, she's in the office till I think 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock.
All right.
And when you get there, she may not be there because she's out doing errands, but she's got a clock that says when she's going to be back.
Well, look at that. Huh. I should have tried that. All right, we're going to go to break. The lovely and talented Shelly Stevens hanging out in the big KCHW green room, waiting to go live with us and talk about the new tourism program going on at the Tri-County Economic Development District. Stand by. We will be back with Shelly Stevens. You're listening to Scott and Mike on Northern Lights Public Radio. We are KCHW 102.7.
It's 8:06.
Your KCHW morning show made possible by a donation from God-Fearing Brothers Auto Center. God-Fearing Brothers specializes in auto services, including repair, maintenance, and detailing. They also stock tires, provide collision repairs, including glass, and they have an auto sales lot on the corner of Highway 395 and Main Street at the light. For more information, you can visit the Auto Service Center at 806 East Main in Chewila. Find them online at godfearingbrothers.com or by phone at 509-935-6414.
This is KCHW, Chewila, 102.7 FM.
Your KCHW morning show made possible by a donation from God-Fearing Brothers Auto Center. God-Fearing Brothers specializes in auto services, including repair, maintenance, and detailing. They also stock tires, provide collision repairs, including glass, and they have an auto sales lot on the corner of Highway 395 and Main Street at the light. For more information, you can visit the Auto Service Center at 806 East Main in Chewila. Find them online at godfearingbrothers.com or by phone at 509-935-6414.
This is the Public News Service Daily Newscast, March 9th, 2022. I'm Gina Tempesta. The U.S. has officially banned imports of Russian oil, breaking from its European Union allies, many of whom rely on Russian oil and gas. Currently, the U.S. gets about 3% of its oil from Russia. It's being called a sign of the times. For the first time in more than 50 years, Minneapolis teachers went on strike Tuesday. Backers of educators on the picket lines say beyond the specific demands, the movement reflects the morale of teachers nationwide. More on what's at stake.
Other demands from Minneapolis teachers include smaller class sizes and culturally relevant support for staff members. Matt Pulowski, who serves as a teacher mentor in the district, says educators have made huge sacrifices to meet the needs of students during the pandemic.
It's been a rough ride. We are fighting for a better future so that our morale can improve.
Educators say the district has the resources to meet their demands, but the superintendent has cited lower enrollment and inadequate education funding as roadblocks. St. Paul avoided its own teacher walkout this week with a last-minute agreement. The labor issues have spurred calls for state lawmakers to use Minnesota's large budget surplus to boost school funding. GOP leaders say the focus should be on taxpayer relief. I'm Mike Moen.
Meanwhile, the first hospital security officers in Rhode Island to unionize successfully signed their first contract, and they're urging other New England workers to organize. Security officers, parking lot attendants, and security associates at Women's and Infants Hospital in Providence joined 32 BJ Service Employees International Union. SEIU's security division represents more than 3,000 employees in Massachusetts as well. Scott Malloy, officer and member of the bargaining committee, says the hospital workers have gone a long time without a pay raise to match the inflation rate, and this contract includes at least an 8% raise for each member.
It's a comfort that this department's never really had. We now know that we have support when we need it. If something goes wrong or if there's something that we come across in one of our shifts, we know that the union is going to be there to back us when we need the protection and we know we're in the right.
There's been a renewed interest in union membership in recent years after declining in the past few decades. In Iowa, cleanup continues from last weekend's deadly tornadoes. Currently, homeowners can use their own appraisers in establishing a claim. But going forward, a bill in their state legislature would give that right exclusively to insurance companies. Christopher Rance, a lobbyist with the American Adjusters Association, says that property owners who felt shortchanged would have no choice but to go to court.
Most people can't afford to do that. They certainly can't wait for 2 years to go through the litigation process of fighting with their insurance company.
Opponents worry the proposal would strip the right of property owners who have seen their fair share of recent disasters. This is PNS.
You're listening to Northern Lights Public Radio on 102.7 KCHW, Chewelah, Colville, and Deer Park.
A countdown?
Yeah. You get a countdown? You want a countdown?
No.
The music is the countdown. All right. This segment, we've got our special guest. Also, before we leave, we'll try to get you in with a little odd news and some funnies from Scott and Mike. So stick around. And here we go. It's KCHW 102.7, 811 now, welcoming to the studio. She reminded me it's been a really long time, and last time she visited in person. And it's Miss Shelly Stevens from our Tri-County Economic Development District. Good morning, Shelly.
Morning.
All right.
Good morning.
All right. She said she wasn't listening because she was too nervous.
Yeah.
So you didn't hear any of the things we were saying about you. That's horrible.
I hope it was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
It's all.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Shelly, you've been at TED, which we like to call it, TED, for a very long time, haven't you? Tell us a little bit about how you got started with TED and your position.
Okay. Should I say what TED is, or are we assuming?
No, okay. Well, go ahead. Go ahead and explain what TED is, too.
Okay. So, TED is Tri-County Economic Development District, and TED World Headquarters is up here in Colville. And we serve Ferry, Stevens, and Padre counties. We do a variety of things. We're kind of quasi-government, but economic development, as is in the name, is our the focus of the various programs that we work with. So we have a loan fund, the Rural Opportunities Loan Fund, that is managed for 10 counties by TED. And we are the Regional Transportation Planning Organization, the RTPO. That happens here at TED. And you all know Brandon Hansen is our Economic Development Specialist. And we do some veteran services work. And then my position is regional marketing. So I do our social media, I do our websites, and promote Ferry, Stevens, and Padre counties. And I've been here almost 7 years, and it's a very cool place to work. I really enjoy it. I mean, we totally get to see the effects of our efforts directly on the communities, and that's fun. And it's just a cool place.
Well, and I think having a job where you have your job is to help people, I think that brings a certain kind of reward, like being a volunteer.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, it's just so much. You get direct feedback, immediately. You can see the impacts on the communities and everything from helping with smaller events to, the larger planning efforts that happen here at TED. We do quite a bit of that. I'm kind of skipped over that. We have a planning director that works with all sorts of planning efforts. Many of these are, for instance, filed with the state so that other organizations can apply for grants, depending on what that is. A lot of grant stuff, that's what a lot of funding for the various programs comes from. We are definitely dialed directly in with our local community.
Now, I've been... Go ahead, Mike.
So my experience is they're also very responsive, which is really nice, especially dealing with, as Shelly said, a quasi-government agency. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get things done, and in this case, it's not that at all. And frankly, I believe Shelly does a great job on the marketing side. So I try to steal as many ideas as I can. So she makes me look better than I am.
All right.
I'm successful, I guess.
Yeah.
On a side note, Brandon Hansen just checked in and said, "Hi, Shelly."
I know. Well, I have a window right here in my office out to the hallway, and he's dancing out here with a pink flamingo. Thank you, Brandon.
Trying to throw you off.
Just a little bit. So if I looked away and made a face, that was why.
So you need a one-way glass.
Yeah.
So he's watching you online and dancing for you in a window. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was already sending out pre-messages to the team. We have a message thread, and I think just to make me nervous. Mike, he said that you were doing great and you were going to be a hard act to follow. So thanks, Brandon.
All right. So I've been seeing these emails coming into my inbox about this new tourism program, and that's kind of what you're here to kick off, right? All right.
Yes, absolutely. Super exciting. So I'll give a little background on kind of how this all came to be. So for more than the last decade, the state of Washington has been the only state that has not had a state-sponsored tourism office to promote tourism to the state. And I'm sure you've all seen the amazing stuff Idaho does, the amazing stuff Oregon does, even BC. Those are all super well financed tourism efforts. And the state of Washington has had They took it out of the legislative budget at the downturn in 2008. So it's only been very recently, within the last little more than a year probably, that we once again have a state agency that's kind of ramping up, moving towards being hopefully as effective as our neighbors. And it is now called, the official name is the State of Washington Tourism, the State of WA Tourism. They've rebranded, they have a whole new look and new websites and everything. And they are rolling out some different programs and things to help destination marketing organizations promote their areas. And so one of the first ones is what they're calling the Rural Tourism Support Program. And it is modeled on a very successful program that Oregon has run for about 13 years, and that they focused on smaller rural communities, and they would have facilitators come in and help them go through a process to figure out what some ideas that they could have to promote their town or area and its unique assets and things like that. So the state of Washington Tourism has hired one of the principal architects of those Oregon programs, Kristen Dahl, to come to Washington and work her magic here. And so a little earlier, well, at the end of last year, I guess, they announced that this program was going to happen, and they invited destinations to apply to go through this brand new facilitated strategic planning process. And so TED, we applied on behalf of Northeast Washington. We're kind of the de facto DMO, Destination Marketing Organization. There really isn't one official, and that's a whole definition of what that is kind of up in the air anyways. But anyways, we just went ahead and applied to represent Ferry, Stevens, Pend Oreille counties in this. And spoiler alert, they picked us. I'm sure it's not a spoiler alert. So here we are. And we've been going through this process for a few months now. One of the first things we did was form a steering committee. And so we have representatives from all over, all three counties, and from different facets of both kind of tourism type businesses or organizations, and also just businesses and electeds and some different representation. Mr. Mike Benz is on the steering committee.
Surprise, surprise.
And I know. And so we've just kind of, Kristen and her team have been walking us through up until now, kind of what areas we as a group want to focus on for the upcoming and most fun part, community workshops. So we will be having workshops in all three counties with different topics, and we are totally hoping that we get a great turnout for folks that want to come attend these workshops and help kind of shape what tourism should look like here in Northeast Washington or in Chewelah or wherever you are in the region for the next 10 years. And it's our opportunity to get ahead of growth. And I'm sure a lot of people have seen during the pandemic how many more people have, air quotes, discovered the great outdoors because that was somewhere they could recreate safely. RV use is off the hook. Boating is off the hook. All of the, as we all know, the real estate market is off the hook because people are choosing to move to less populated areas. So it's happening right now, and now is the time to get ahead of this inevitable growth and be thoughtful about what we would like it to be in the future and how we can preserve our own unique characteristics for the people that already live here. Enhance the quality of life for those folks that already live here, and also take advantage of some tourism economic development. So that's basically what the program is all about. I just rambled on and on.
Well, I know for Chewelah, this is like perfect timing, especially with the creative district and the work those folks are doing, and then even the Carpe, right? There's a lot of changes for Chewelah in the future. Hotel going up at the casino, all this stuff that's happening around Chewelah. It's good timing to bring this in. And then I guess my question would be is what are some of the topics of the workshops?
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't have to try to remember them. So the very first kind of event for this is March 29th, and it's in the evening. That's a Tuesday, and it's in Chewelah. It's up at the golf course, and it is just kind of a kickoff event. It's a networking event. It's just going to be, like I said, just an evening kind of social, just kind of starting to meet some folks that will be involved, some of the team that Kristen has. But then the next day, again, up at the golf course, will be our first full day workshop. And that is some vision and scenario planning with the group. They have some program or activities they'll take us through. There'll be some speakers, some different information there. And I want to say that these, of course, these are free for people to attend, and we'll feed you. There will be food, and if you feed them, they will come.
Yes.
So that's what I'm hoping. So that will be the first one, and that's going to kind of set some framework for the following workshops. And so then the next one will be in April, April 26th. So the April 26th and 27th, we will be in Ferry County at the K Diamond K Guest Ranch. And those are 2 full-day workshops. The first is outdoor rec and adventure travel. And then the day after will be destinations from good to great. And then we'll wrap it up on May 17th in Pend Oreille County at the Camas Center. And that will be destination marketing and visitor communications. So anybody that has anything remotely to do with tourism or recreation, or just want to be a part of how this all shakes out, this is such a great opportunity to be taken through this process and to look at this regionally, and where all of our towns and assets fit in uniquely, but with a regional approach too, so that we can share resources and energy and volunteer time and all of those things that we know are difficult to come by again and again to promote our own in local areas.
Yeah, so Shelly, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is where kind of the term the Ponderosa region came from?
Yeah, so that goes to, that's the state of Washington tourism. So as kind of part of their rebranding and actually just kind of recreating this state tourism agency, they broke the state up into different regions and areas, and they kind of gave them names to help separate them for their own marketing purposes. So Barry Stevens, Pend Oreille, and Spokane County, dang it, they're calling the Ponderosa region. I don't know why. There's Ponderosas all over the state. There's nothing unique about a Ponderosa. But anyways, we had no kind of say, well, I'll take that back. They did have some Zoom meetings talking with folks and getting ideas, but at the end of the day, we didn't really have a whole lot of control over what word they came up with. It's a lovely, fine word. I just wish it was a little more
unique for our area.
Unique. Yeah. So but that's tricky. That's tricky.
And I think as a feather in the cap to Ted, I think of an old saying. One of the people who used to work for me said, "The pioneers take the arrows." Well, this is the pilot program. So the pioneers are taking the arrows on this. And but it also allows, I think, recognition of shaping the program. And Shelly and the team are doing, in my opinion, a phenomenal job putting this together. It's getting the public input that is really the challenge. And since you brought that up, Mike,
even if someone is not able to attend the workshops, we do have a survey. Actually, we have 2 surveys out. We have a stakeholder survey. That's a way overused word, but what else are you going to call it? A stakeholder. But so for anyone that lives here already that would like to take the survey and give some input, ask questions about your thoughts of all sorts of things having to do with tourism and outdoor rec and what assets you would like to see. So you can find that survey on our website, tricountyyedd.com. There's a banner right on the homepage. It'll take you to our whole tourism program page where you can register and where you can take the survey. And we also have we're doing a visitor opportunity survey. This one's proven a little tougher to get the response we want because we want it to be visitors, not locals. And so that is a little kind of getting that into the hands of the visitors has proven a little challenging. We've had an okay response, mostly due to Mike, and they're mostly people that like to golf. So
this is a golf-centric reason, by the way.
Yeah, apparently. So if anyone wants to reach out to me, if they're a business or an organization that has a list that they've, an email list that through their activities of primarily people from outside the area that they'd be willing to send this visitor survey link to, I would love that. This data, this information that we'll get from the visitor survey is super important. It's difficult to get, and it will be really helpful to really see, kind of figure out where we should be pointing our energies and things, and what visitors want as far as improving their experience.
All right, so I just posted the link to that.
That
was on your email. I posted it on our Facebook page. And I noticed, too, as Sandy had sent it out for you from the chamber to everybody saying, please send this to friends, family, people you know that visit the area. So same thing. If you want to help out Ted, it is, and I pinned it to the video. So on today's playback video, you'll be able to see that. You can scroll on there right now. And if you have some friends you'd like to send that to that come to our area, or even people that are thinking about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right,
yeah,
so that link's on our Facebook page there too.
Thanks, Scott.
You bet.
Well, and I think as a side benefit, what I've observed is the ability to recognize the other people in this region and support each other is coming out of this. And one of the challenges I think we look at the creative district is, okay, how do we get them here? How do we get them to economically support the region? And I think actually more importantly, in a lot of cases, is how do we get them back? Okay. So it's not a one-stop type deal. And a lot of that in my mind is destination marketing. You know, I made the comment in one of the steering meeting things is I think we do a pretty good, as a golf course, we do a good job of getting people here. But what we need to work on is when they get here, to expose them to other things to do in the region so they stay here longer. And then potentially maybe move here, but want to come back because there's so much to do in this region. Coming up for the weekend isn't going to work, you know?
Yeah.
But, so, and it's really broad based. I mean, you've got water sports, you've got skiing, you've got golfing, you've got hiking, you've got hunting, you can go on and on and on. And and what I see coming out of this is, through Ted's good work, is to get people exposed to the real value of Northeast Washington.
Yeah, and I would like to emphasize that, because I think this concerns a lot of people that already live here, is that what we're not trying to do is, okay, what should we do to bring a bunch of people in because we have all this cool stuff and we want them to spend their money here, and that's like the kind of the backwards approach. What we'd like to do is, what can we do for the people that already live here that improves the quality of life, that there's more trail access right out of town, or there's more walkable downtowns, or whatever that is, that because we've enhanced that or those opportunities, when people do come to visit, they get a greater experience also. But if we focus on the folks here and the quality of life and what we can do, that those changes will then make tourism a better economic driver, then that is way more sustainable than and I'm not saying you said this, Mike, at all. I just want to it was just going through my head that instead of just let's get them here, we've just seen, we could go through so many examples of places that have done that, because so many towns are in a similar boat as Chewelah and Newport and Medellin Falls and Republic and anywhere else where they're transitioning economies, and it gets a little scary sometimes, I suppose. What are we going to be? How are we going to survive? And might like leap into this, outdoor rec, tourism, that's gonna be the deal. And if it's not done with some planning strategically and with some thought to preservation and to preserve what we have, then ultimately it'll backfire and we'll lose the character of the region and our towns and everything else. So that's I'm super excited about potential to really come through this planning process from people that know how to do it, that we will be able to move forward in that thoughtful manner.
Now, I'm guessing with this moving forward and a lot of the stuff that are happening in the Tri-County area, this would probably be really good for somebody that's thinking of opening a business, say, for like bicycles, maybe a bicycle rental thing. One thing I think you could actually do in this area is some kind of tour guide service.
Yeah, we are woefully short on like guides and outfitters. That there's so much potential there. I mean, I'll even get calls here from people looking, where can we rent a kayak? Where can we rent a snowmobile? And there's challenges to all of those type of businesses, but it is certainly an opportunity. And for anybody that's even kind of thinking, if they're an entrepreneur thinking along, well, how can I make a living doing, being a hunting guide? I love hunting, and I don't know what, this type of work would be just great to get involved. Not only will it be interesting to see what kind of ideas and projects and things kind of bubble up through this process, but the networking opportunity, the people that you're going to get to connect with will just be a unique opportunity here, thinking regionally.
All right. So as we wrap things up, let's say I want to attend some of these workshops. What do I do?
You would go to our website, tricountyyedd.com, and right on the homepage, there's a banner you can click on that will take you to our tourism program page with some more information. You can register there. You can, there's the link is there to take that stakeholder survey right from there. And if anyone has any questions, they're welcome to call or email me. Obviously, I'd like to chat about it. So
I'll go ahead and throw that stakeholder link on there too, so people got both of them that are listening to the show today. All right. Did we miss anything, Shelly?
Probably. But,
well, you'll just have to come back then, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll come back and tell you how it all went. So I just hope people, if they're even a little bit curious, at least come to the kickoff event up at the golf course. Have some appetizers and see what's happening, and then you could register for some of the future workshops if you wanted to. But you could kind of check us out, see what's what.
All right. I imagine all the towns that have chambers in the three counties, this is going to be real important to them. I imagine they'll all be attending that workshop. I would think.
I hope so.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Shelly?
No, thank you for giving me the opportunity.
No, thank you for joining us this morning and sharing what's going on. We all like to see our counties and this area prosper and people being able to open new businesses and stuff like that. So thanks for all the hard work you guys all do there at TED. How about a round of applause for you guys? All right. Thank you, Shelly.
You bet. Thanks,
thank
guys.
you.
All right. All right. We will cut you
day.
loose. Shelly Stevens once again from TED there. Thanks you very much. All right, Mike, I'm going to roll along with you. I think it's, I haven't got to pick on you. You were gone for 3 weeks. And
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Was it 2 weeks? It seemed longer. And I'm ready to...
That's because you missed me.
I know. I'm ready to mess with you, though.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Ah, that's right. It's time to pick on Mike.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
All right. I got some trivia for you.
Okay.
Mars has 39 more of these than the planet Earth. What is it?
Bigger.
39 more of these than Earth.
Oh, moons.
No, sir. Mars has 39 more of these than Earth.
39 more of these
yes.
than Earth?
Yes.
It's not bigger. It doesn't have more moons.
Well, it might, but that's not what I'm looking
for.
It has 39 more of these than Earth. I don't know what to give you as a better hint than that.
Seas?
It has to do with the planet's rotation.
Oh, rotations?
No, but it has 39 more of these than Earth would. And that's because of its size, that it gets 39 more of these.
Like time zones?
You're pretty close. We're looking for minutes. Has 39 more minutes in a day than us.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's move to Mars because we'll get more done.
Get more done. No, we'll have more time off.
Oh, all right.
Think positive here.
More time off. 39 more minutes a day. What would you do with that? Would you exercise? No.
Absolutely.
All right. About 4% of Americans don't have these body parts. About 4% of Americans don't have these or this body part.
Fingers?
That's a tip of the hat to all you woodshop teachers. No, it's not fingers. It's I guess they're just as important though. You'd be lost without your fingers, and you're kind of lost without these till you get them replaced.
Oh,
it's not your knee.
Not your knee. That's the first thing came to my mind.
Something else you can replace.
Way more than 4%, though.
I'm trying to put money in savings for just this thing.
Okay. Hair.
No, I'm doing good there.
Oh, okay.
About 4% of Americans don't have teeth.
Oh, really? I thought that number would be a lot higher.
I would think so too. All right.
That one I wouldn't have gotten.
All right.
So.
Which one does not fit and why? Fructis, Neutrogena, Suave, Redken, Secret.
Secret.
Why?
It's a deodorant.
There you go. What were the rest of them?
They're all shampoos of some kind.
Wow, you're well versed in the shampoo department for a guy that has very little hair.
I have to give Loretta credit on
that. Oh, because she makes you shop sometimes, I suppose, huh? All right, that was a surprise. There are over 1,000 YouTube channels dedicated to this girl's toy.
Barbie.
Yes. 20 million acres of what fruit? I've never watched any Barbie videos, but what are they playing with them?
Oh, no.
Showing out how decked out the Barbie house is?
Oh, okay.
All right. 20 million acres of what fruit are planted worldwide?
Tomatoes.
No, sir. It's a good guess, though.
Yeah.
This is a real popular fruit.
Apples.
They use this fruit for something else. Usually, they're growing for something else. You can also people eat it, but it is primarily really important for some other product. 20 million acres of what fruit are planted worldwide? Grow on vines.
It grows on a vine. Grapes.
Yes, grapes.
Really?
What would we do without wine? Huh?
That's right. Huh? Exactly.
All right. His last meal was 4 scoops of ice cream and 6 chocolate chip cookies.
His last meal?
Yes.
Somebody that got executed.
No, it is not some. Basically executed himself with 4 scoops of ice cream and 6 chocolate chip cookies.
Scott's farewell party.
Let me give you a hint. There's something wrong with my leg, and I won't stop shaking.
What's the hint?
There's something wrong with my leg, and it won't stop shaking.
I have no idea.
That was apparently the worst Elvis Presley impersonation ever.
Okay.
And now, if I would have said he liked bananas and peanut butter, you would have known who it was.
I would have known that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Just a couple more, Mike.
I'm failing miserably.
All right. So I'm going to give you 3 words, and you tell me what they could possibly have in common. All right?
Yeah.
All right. So if I said Evans, Pratt, and Hemsworth, the thing they have in common would be Chris.
Actors.
Well, Chris. But you could say actors, too. They have that in common. Yeah. So okay. I'd give you credit for either one. So now, this is going to be a tough one. Sheet, cup, coffee.
Sheet, like SHEET.
Correct.
Cup, coffee.
That's a tough
covers,
one.
Fitted.
Fitted coffee? No. And this is a tough one. I would never get it. Cake.
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 Okay.
So
Yeah.
coffee cake, coffee cup.
Yeah. Sheet cake.
Yeah. All right. Hobby, play, rocking.
Hobby, play. It's rocking.
Yep.
They move back and forth. Rocking. Hobby, play, rocking. Huh.
Like it's a popular gift for you little kids when you think of rocking.
Play. Oh, like a rocking horse?
Yeah, there you go. Horse was
Okay.
what we were looking for. Horse play, rocking horse.
Okay.
Hobby horse. Okay. All right. Silk, silver, play.
What was the first one?
Silk. Silk, silver, play.
Screen.
There you go. Good job. That's a tough one, too. Shaker, Epsom, mine.
Salt.
Cinnamon, Tootsie, crescent.
Cinnamon, Tootsie, roll.
All right, good job. You know what I'm even going to do there is give you a round of applause because you got really good at that toward the end.
Did you notice the ones I was good at all involve food?
Wah, wah, wah. All right, cereal or not? Real cereal or not? I'm going to name some kids' breakfast cereals. You tell me if they were really produced or not. Reese's Puffs.
Yes, produced.
How do you know? Have you eaten that?
No, but I've seen it.
Okay. Blueberry Toast Crunch.
Yes.
I want some of that. Where do you get that?
That sounds really good, actually.
It does.
Yeah.
Blueberry Toast Crunch. All right. Twigs and Spiders.
No.
But I wish it
Who
was.
would eat cereal called Spiders?
Kids would eat it. You know they would. Twigs and Spiders. All right. Frosted Flakes Banana Cream.
Ooh. That sounds good. No.
It is actually real.
Really?
These are things you can't buy in a tiny grocery store like we have.
No, you would buy those in a tiny boutique store.
Oh, okay. Grin, smiles, giggles, and laughs.
Grin, smiles, giggles, and laughs. That's just crazy enough to say no.
It's actually a real cereal.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to get a real marketing job.
Let's get Shelly back on here. All right. Biscuits and Gravios.
Biscuits and Gravios? No way.
But man, wouldn't it be good with a little milk? Now I want some biscuits and gravy. All right. All right. Before we go to odd news today, local birthdays. It is the 9th. We have Kaylee Rooker, Briella Murray, Patrick Hume, Kylie Caddy, Thea Kersey, and an anniversary for Bob and Donna Eglund. All right. Big list today. And a round of applause for all them. If you know them, you love them. See him around town, maybe see him on Facebook, point and laugh, and tell him we were talking about him on the radio. All right, we're all geared up to end the show with a little odd news.
Slap some bacon on a biscuit and let's go. We're burning daylight.
It's the world of strange. A world gone wacky.
Out here, due process is a bullet.
And some of the scariest people on the planet.
I think you're bluffing. Be afraid.
You know, you look mighty pretty when you get mad.
It's your odd news on KCHW.
Just sit back and enjoy the show.
All right, kicking off today's odd news, 8:47. Mr. Mike Bent's doing the news attack where the first part's real and the second part's a bad joke.
Okay, well, I get to start out with strokes, heart attacks, and diabetes.
That's not good.
Concludes that we're still eating far too much processed meat and red meat.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, well, the news couldn't come at a worse time for that good old Wendy's new bacon hot dog cheeseburger bacon burger.
Wrapped in a pizza.
Looks to me wrapped in a pizza and with a scoop of ice cream on top.
I'm going to disagree with that research because I don't think it's too much meat. It's the buns that surround it.
Right. Exactly.
That's the problem, especially for the diabetes.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. Join in the I guess the onluge of people closing down in Russia, McDonald's and Starbucks closing their stores in Russia. So, if you would like to look like fat, lazy American, you're going to have to eat somewhere else.
You do a pretty good Russian accent.
Thank you. That might get me in trouble, though. I'll stop now.
That's true. You're going to be on the list now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, police in South Africa caught a 15-year-old who snuck out of school to rob a bank and returned in time for lunch. Boy, is that a great lesson in time management and creativity?
He's awesome.
School authorities got suspicious when a kid brought a cafeteria lunch when he could obviously afford to eat at a better place.
Have your food delivered to school.
That's right. Yeah, have pizzas delivered for the entire school.
All right, spring is almost here. At least that's what I learned when I closed Wordle and launched my weather app. Maybe I should just put down my phone.
Wordle?
I have not.
Neither have I. A lot of people are starting to do that, though.
I know. It's a thing. All right.
Okay, President Joe Biden has banned Russian oil, including the Russian oil of Olay.
That's oil of Olay. All right. So how do you think that's going to affect us? Do you think gas prices are going to be soaring by the end of the month, like up to $6 a gallon, $7 a gallon, like California?
Oh, I don't. Well, I'd be surprised with that high. I think it'll affect us a little bit until it kind of goes through the system. But I think one of the things to keep in mind is the U.S. is still a net exporter. So basically it's going to affect us by they rebalance out the oil system, the distribution system for a period of time. And then that leads me into, I've read a really great article, is gas really that high priced?
No, it's just taxed ridiculously by the state of Washington.
Well, that's true too. But now you're way too young to remember the 70s.
I remember hearing about it, though. And I've seen pictures of the gas lines and how crazy it got.
That's right. Well, I actually lived through that.
Oh.
And there were, the gas shortages in 73 and again in 78. And this article, talked about is it really too expensive? Okay. In today's world. And there's really, it's just like, I had an economist tell me once, Mike, tell me what you want the numbers to say and I'll make them say it. So that's a great article on that. The real price of gasoline per mile driven. Back in 1980, it cost about 30 cents a gallon per mile driven. And as of yesterday, it's only about 15 cents per mile driven. So then you need to figure out why is that happening, right?
Okay.
Well, it's because the minimum wage back in 1980 around as an average was around $3 or not $3. I'm sorry, was around a $6.75 an hour. Okay, so the gasoline was $1.25, minimum wage is $6.75 an hour. Today, gasoline is an average of $4.17 a gallon, but the typical worker makes around $27 an hour. So, but it takes, and this is where those statisticians drive me nuts. And back in 1980, it took about 11 minutes to buy a gallon of gas.
Of work, I get it. Okay.
Okay, in 2022, it takes about 9 minutes. So it takes less time to earn a gallon of gas.
So you're saying it's actually okay?
It's and then you couple that with in 1980, the cars or vehicles got the mileage of your zombie mobile.
That's true.
Okay. Whereas in today's car, the average miles per gallon is around 23. And so they're right in one respect, it is. It's actually cheaper in real terms, inflationary terms today. But it still costs you $4 a gallon. So
well, and you wouldn't think that stopping the Russian oil imports would have that big of an effect since it's only like I heard 4%.
Yeah, it's actually 8%.
Okay,
but people say, well, open this pipeline and turn on the switch here. And I read a really good article that said, you know, the oil companies, their problem is not opening the spigot. Their problem is supply chain issues like pipe and things like that, and workers.
Okay.
And so you're heading this direction here in about a month. So the oil fields in North Dakota, the Bakken up there, they're starting to come back online. And the guy that owns this company up there said he could double the production if he could find the people to work.
Well, and you know, they had that big oil boom in North Dakota, and then the price got so low, they shut them all down, and all those workers left. I mean, they built apartment complexes and apartment complexes. People couldn't find anywhere to live, and now all they have is empty apartment complexes.
Exactly.
You know? So you got to get those people back into that state, I guess. But
and down in the Permian Basin, which is basically West Texas and New Mexico, they can't find truck drivers.
Wow. Well, you know what? None of this is funny, so let's get back to odd news. I wanted to ask
you're the one that opened it
I know. I wanted to ask you that earlier in the day, and when that joke came up, it really triggered it in my head what you thought about the gas.
Real quick, there'll be short-term pain, but it'll work its way back through the system.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see. Kelly Clarkson's ex is going to get $45,000 a month in child support. And he says he needs that much so he can buy them new cars every month.
You can't even relate to that.
I can't.
I can't relate to that. $45,000 a month.
Wow.
For 2 kids or 3 kids, maybe. I don't know.
Wow.
So
he must have got the kids in the divorce.
Okay, the number of Americans fully vaccinated is just over 65%.
Okay.
Sadly, this means you'll probably be required to go to your in-laws' Memorial Day barbecue.
Oh. And scientists say that nearsightedness is on the increase as kids spend more time inside watching YouTube videos of nearsighted people bumping into things. On to wacky but true. Mike's going to kick this off as well, and we don't add anything to these stories but sound effects.
And as soon as it says Florida, I know it's going to be crazy.
All right. I was hoping we'd come up with 3 today that would trigger the song, but it was just 2 stories from Florida, so it will not.
Okay.
It will not trigger the song today.
It will not trigger the song.
All right.
Okay. Well, a Florida man who was stopped for speeding made the mother of all dumb excuses after suggesting to the attending officer that Vladimir Putin made him do it. The Flagler County Sheriff's Department shared the body cam video of the stop. When asked why he was speeding, the man said, I found out that Putin said he was going to launch nuclear thermal war against the world. I was trying to get back to my house to find out what was going on.
As far as excuses go, that is not a good one.
Welcome to Fantasy Island.
All right. Authorities are looking for a naked man accused of stealing an American flag from a Florida home. Yep, we're still in Florida, obviously. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office tweeted video taken from a home that may help deputies identify the man. The 19-second video shows a man walking up some steps and looking toward the ceiling. The video then cuts to the man standing near the edge of the porch area, holding an American flag to his chest to cover the front of himself because, well, he was naked.
So that leads you to believe, why was Scott naked?
No! Who steals an American flag? That's just wrong.
That's just wrong. I agree with that. Exactly.
Especially without your clothes on.
Now, whatever your name is, get ready for the big surprise.
Okay, well, you know, a guy from New York City needed to be rescued twice on consecutive days while hiking in a northern Arizona mountain range. I can't imagine hiking in a mountain range that's full of cactus. Anyway, let me digress. Okay. 28-year-old Philip Vasto first called 911 on Wednesday about 7 p.m. saying he's got lost while hiking on Humphreys Trail in the San Francisco Peaks overlooking Flagstaff, Arizona. He started early in the morning and thought he had all the time in the world to reach the summit. During the first rescue, tracked vehicles from the ski resort that traveled on snow. So this guy was even hiking in the mountains on snow.
Bad idea.
Okay. Drove Vasco off the mountain. He declined any medical attention. At 5 p.m. the next day, Vasco called 911 to say he needed help injuring himself from a fall near a ridge. The Arizona Department of Public Safety rescue helicopter was sent to pick him up, and another hiker who stopped to help him. That's nice. After the first hike, the sheriff's office said Vasco was provided with preventative search and rescue education about conditions of the trail and approaching winter storm, and encouraged not to attempt the hike again. So he was warned.
Yep.
The other hiker who stopped to help Field 5 said, very apparent he wasn't prepared for the climate that he'd gotten himself into. So this is one of those stories where they send him a bill.
Yeah, they should, because they rescue him once and tell him it's too dangerous for his skill level, and he goes to do it again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that helicopter is not inexpensive.
All right, I got a song for him.
You are an idiot!
All right. On to a man in China who climbed down a well while drunk and had to be coaxed up by police. Who used promises of more alcohol. Hey, got a beer up here. Man said he climbed down the well after a night of drinking to find his lost phone. And now word from the police as they look down the well.
There seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
On to Germany, where they have people with not a sharp tool in their shed. A man accidentally put the wrong type of fuel in his car. Have you ever done that?
No. They usually have a thing that prevents that from happening, the different sizes of the nozzles.
You're just too young.
Okay.
Back in the old days, the nozzles were all the same size, and you had to be smart enough to know what kind of fuel to put in.
Well, I could see you could accidentally do something wrong.
Right, yeah, okay. Mechanic told, the reason I asked that is I didn't do it, but I watched a cousin do it. With diesel in a pickup.
Oh.
It wasn't diesel. It does not run well.
I imagine not.
No. Anyway, a mechanic told they could take care of the problem for around $350. Yeah. Well, too rich for this man. He decided to take care of it himself. Innovation. He first tried to siphon out fuel with a garden hose. I've done that way too many times, but that didn't work. Then he tried to use a vacuum cleaner to suck it out. Oh, Scott, do not do this at home.
What? Why?
He blew up the car.
With the vacuum?
With the vacuum.
Maybe some sparks or something?
Something tells me when the gas and the vapors hit the shop vac and the electrical motor that puts off electricity hit the vapors, that there was a chain reaction that went through the vacuum cleaner, down the hose, and into the tank on the car and blew it up. It's called the vacuum cleaner Molotov cocktail.
All right, just a little explosion. It's the best one I have.
Yeah, that wasn't very big.
It wasn't very big. It sounded horrible, though. All right, last one. In Italy, a man snatched a gold chain from around a woman's neck and sprinted away down the street. He didn't get very far, however. He had stuffed the chain in his mouth, and as he ran, he began to breathe harder and harder and harder, and eventually sucked the necklace down his windpipe. He fell to the ground choking. Lucky for him, cops were close behind and gave him the Heimlich maneuver before arresting him. Oh, that's so nice. And I bet she was happy.
Revenge is a feast best served immediately.
That's right. That's karma acting really, really fast. You steal the necklace, put it in your mouth, and then choke. It's perfect.
Why'd you put it in your mouth?
I don't know. Yeah, why wouldn't you put it in a pocket? Or maybe that's too awkward while you're running. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Or hide the evidence. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'll play it again.
The strain was terrific. And impossible though it seemed, he got an idea.
All right, we ran a little long. It's Scott and Mike on a Wednesday. Thank you so much for coming back and being with us, Mike. Round of applause for you.
Thank you.
All right. Any closing words before I play the outro?
Yep. Go to the Facebook page and the YouTube page and the website and everything else and register for the meetings that Shelly talked about.
All right,
So you have a vote,
just on
have a
our
say.
the links are just on the Facebook page for the video
Just
from
on
today.
the Facebook page, okay.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right. There's some very good work being done there. And other than that, it looks like the sun is out and the snow is melting. And I might hobble out, because I got this knee issue, and exercise my knee a little bit.
All right. All right. Enjoy the weather while it lasts, because more rain is coming. There you go. But at least it'll be warmer. That's the trade-off. And,
That's
of course, always keep on listening to Northern Lights Public Radio. It is KCHW 102.7. You got me and Alan Milani for your Thursday. Let's see, tonight on the radio. Oh, bluegrass music at 6 o'clock. 2 hours of bluegrass. Check it out. Don't forget Paranormal Talk Radio at 10. All right here on KCHW 102.7. Have an awesome day.
Whatever your name is, get ready for the big surprise.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor.